think what it came down to a lot of the time is that one, I was a kind of more classic bartending, right? So that's one of it. Uh, I just started seeing the need for unnecessary garnishing. I think that was a
Hmm.
big point as well. I haven't had a chance to chat about this, but I started seeing fucking pegs on drinks everywhere and dehydrated, dead-looking fruit, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow. Do you think that really looks nice? This dehydrated piece of fruit that
Black
yeah, yeah, it
line.
looks
Yeah.
black, exactly,
Yeah.
and crinkly. You know, like, and if you serve, like, I mean, if a chef looked at that, he'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing with that?" But bartenders thought it was cool, and
Hmm.
these tiny little pegs that you put on everywhere. I'm like, what? Who invented that? There's not small enough people in the world to have pegs that big, right? And so I was always kind of confounded by this unnecessary need for embellishment, and I think that fits in with maybe Australia and New Zealand, but the unnecessary need for embellishment just pulled certain things back. And then, say like garnish style, it was like, well, if you can't use it and it's not there to represent part of the drink, and I had pretty big discussion with some cool bartenders about this stuff, is like, why do we need it? So let's remove it if we
Hmm.
don't need it, right? So it was that, as I said, it was that reductionist. Let's pull back some of these things, and financially, it didn't always make sense to add a garnish that you weren't using.
Hmm.
Glassware was really important, but glassware in Australia is relatively tough to get. And then on top of that, I think in my original business pitch, I had Baccarat Crystal as the rocks glass, right? So so it was like kind of, yeah, exactly. Like who was thinking that, right? Like obviously, no, I think, and so the Baccarat Crystal idea was like, well, if you're going to invest in the things and you're going to make it minimal, you may as well make the glassware really
Mm.
important, right? Because that's a touch that we all enjoy. It's a tactile touch. And so I went maybe with that idea more than the kind of like, how do we make it minimalist? Is like, okay, we'll focus on the details, and above board, especially the bar top is exactly like that. It's a bar top, but it's a very beautiful bar top, and there's
Mm.
tiny details. And if you're paying attention, you're looking and you go, "Wow, that's a really colorful piece of wood." Like there's reds, there's yellows, and it's not just, it's about you as a consumer searching for the detail and point of view
Hmm.
in there, right?
So with that in mind, like 8 years for any bar is great. Like
Mhm.
that's a good track run. Once you start getting to your decade line, you've done something right.